Senator Bridget McKenzie's fate as a minister and Nationals deputy leader now hangs in the balance. First broken by my colleague Andrew Clennell, and he'll join us shortly, rumours swept Canberra today that she was about to be sacked after a dinner involving the PM, the Deputy PM and the Treasurer last night. This afternoon, in a media conference about other things, the PM could barely defend her. Instead, he pointed to an official investigation by Prime Minister and Cabinet landing back on his desk before he was prepared to say anything further. If we put aside the pub test for one moment, the very pub test that says clearly she's got to go, don't underestimate how hard all of this is for the PM to navigate. Just sack her, says journalists who've never worked in a political office and don't understand the dynamics of the coalition. It's not so easy. And let me explain. Bridget McKenzie holds two very important positions right now in the Morrison government. It's the first that guarantees the second. Like the National Party leader, as deputy leader of the National Party under the coalition agreement, Bridget McKenzie gets a cabinet seat. And also included in that is the PM's prized leadership group meeting, his political inner sanctum, if you like. Now, under the coalition's practices, she doesn't get to choose her cabinet portfolio. That's the PM's gift alone, although I have to say some commentators have got that wrong as well. But she's there in his cabinet by virtue of a vote of the National Party party room. And no Liberals, not even the PM, get a say in that. So to manage her out of cabinet, to dump her as minister over this sports-wrought scandal, requires the agreement, or at the very least the assistance, of the National Party leader. Even if they are no fans of McKenzie, I can guarantee you tonight there's plenty of National Party MPs very unhappy that Liberals are saying off the record that they'll be moving McKenzie out, because as far as they are concerned, the Nats are concerned, they hire and fire their own. This is very much the fight you will remember that ensued inside the coalition not so long ago between Barnaby Joyce and Malcolm Turnbull. Of course, any departure by McKenzie creates a new vacancy for the deputy's job. And already the jostling has started. Darren Chester, David Littleproud, two names put around tonight, well, they're making it known they're available. And for a Nationals leader in Michael McCormack, who's already suffering chatter about his own leadership, a new deputy from the House of Representatives, which is where both Chester and Littleproud sit, as opposed to McKenzie, who's in the Senate, well, this smells too much like a bid for an heir apparent for McCormack to be anything but uncomfortable about where things have got after this funding debacle. On the other hand, if the PM keeps trying to fight this all out, he basically kisses away any chance to get clear air for his big agenda-setting speech at the National Press Club on Wednesday, and all but guarantees that the opening of Parliament will be dominated by another ministerial scandal, this one far more serious than the storm in a teacup last year involving Angus Taylor. And that's because McKenzie, well, this is all about the alleged misuse of taxpayers' money to pork barrel marginal seats. What's clear in all of this is something that I experienced when Bronwyn Bishop eventually resigned from the Speaker's job over the use of a taxpayer-funded helicopter for partly party-related business. Then, as now with McKenzie, the use of the helicopter was technically inside the standards, but very much outside what voters would tolerate as reasonable. This time, while McKenzie didn't have to declare her gun club membership because it was less than the threshold required for disclosure to the Parliament, disclosure or not, she should never have been in the room when a funding decision about this club or any club she belonged to was made on the grounds of sheer probity alone, putting aside any reference to ministerial standards. The matter of disclosure on the register, investigated now by Prime Minister and Cabinet, well, that's a sideshow. McKenzie should have simply recused herself out of good practice, and in any event, It's the Auditor General's report over the process, not who got what grant and for how much, that's the most damaging in all of this. How could you go through, or we all could, that list of grant recipients, go through them tonight, and almost every one of them would make a fair case that they are deserving. Indeed, the auditor found that all the grants delivered were eligible. But it's the process of deciding who got what that hangs McKenzie. Full stop, end of story. When I was involved in working up an election policy from opposition to see similar grants made available to sporting and community clubs, you know what we did? Well, we gave every electorate the same amount of money. Marginal seat or not, Labor, Green, National Party, Liberal, Independent, all of them. They all got the same one amount. And then we called on MPs to establish a local committee to help best allocate the grants so that they were grassroots-led rather than, as McKenzie tried to do, rather than let the bureaucrats in Canberra decide who got what. Now, I might be wrong here, but I don't recall any claims of impropriety about how these funds were spent. By trying to be too clever by half, McKenzie is now gone. She might be still in her office tonight, but I suspect that's only because she hasn't had the knock on the door. But that's coming, trust me.